Good morning, y'all. I am going to work on making some homemade tortillas, and we are using, I've already milled my flour. This is 120 grams of Kamut and 120 grams of hard white wheat. And I've got my big old cast iron skillet out that my mama gave me, and got it good and oiled down, and I'm going to preheat here in just a little while. I'm not going to preheat right now because this is going to take a minute. We've got some resting on this dough that we have to take care of. So I've got my milk. You can use water for this, but we're going to use milk. So I'm going to add to that a teaspoon of salt, and this milk is warm. I've warmed it up in the microwave, and a tablespoon of vinegar. So mix that up. Leave that over here to the side. And then I'm going to add my baking powder. And just a little trick, if you are new to baking, sometimes your baking soda and baking powder can kind of clump up a little bit. You want to sift that before you try to put it into your flour, and because those it can get little hard balls in there, and you want to make sure you don't put that in there, because somebody bites into that, it's going to suck all the water out of their mouth. So make sure you sift. If you've got some, your baking soda or baking powder is hard, make sure you sift it before you put it in your flour. And I'm going to wash my hands. Not that I hadn't already washed my hands, but I'm going to wash them again because, you know, I like my hands to be clean when I put it in food. And unlike meat, I don't mind touching flour, wet flour, and getting it all over my hands. I actually, I'm kind of a texture person anyway, but I like to feel what the flour's doing. If it's getting soft, you know, like some people do this stuff and they use a mixer, but I prefer working flour and any kind of dough with my hands. I want to feel the grain softening. Besides the fact, like I said, I just like the way it feels anyway. So I'm incorporating that. That was olive oil. So what I was using, let me go over the ingredients. Here's 120 grams of hard white, 120 grams of Kamut, a teaspoon of salt, tablespoon of vinegar, 3/4 of a cup of milk, or you can use water, and then a tablespoon of baking powder, and 3 teaspoons of olive oil, which is, I'm almost positive that's a tablespoon. I don't know why I wrote that down. Anyway, so that feels like that's good and incorporated. And I did sift that baking powder, like I said earlier. So this is going to be a little bit of work. And no, I do not have a tortilla press, but it's going to be all right. So I'm going to work this dough up. It is sticky dough right now. It's kind of sticky, but this feels good. This I've worked a lot of dough. This feels nice. But anyway, I'm just making sure that it's good and mixed. And then when and it feels that it's all the moisture is through it. There's no dry flour. I'm trying to get all the goodie off my hands. like to waste anything. All right, now, I'm working with Freshmill flour. Down south, down here where we got a lot of water, we have grinder pumps. Some of y'all country people have regular septic systems, but you see all that dough? All that refined flour that we get out of the store, you can wash your hands at the sink and get it off. You can't do that with, if you're using, especially if you've converted to Freshmill flour, do not put this down your drain. Okay, you saw I just took a paper towel and I'm gonna get all of it off of my fingers that I can. You stay-at-home moms that's trying to convert to Freshmill and help for your living, for your family, do not put this stuff down your drain. And I'm going to show y'all what I do to get rid of all of it. All right, I'll rub my hands over the trash can. They're pretty clean, so I'm going to wash them. But that stuff will accumulate in your drainage plumbing, and it will get hard as a rock because this stuff has not been stripped. Over time, it will compromise your plumbing, so you do not want that to happen because it'll just keep building up in there, building up, and you'll have an issue. So what I'm going to do with this now is, y'all don't mind my dish towels. They get used very often, so yes, they are stained with everything in my kitchen, but they are clean. But anyway, so I'm going to cover this up and let it rest. We call it resting. We're resting the dough for about 10 minutes. And we've got some other 10-minute intervals we need to do as well. So I'm going to pause y'all and I'll be right back. Okay, we are back. And that feels a little bit dry to me. So this is what I'm going to do. Put that olive oil on my hands. My hands are clean. So what I've got to do with this now is I've got to knead this. And I got to knead it until it starts coming together real good. Let me see. See that? Still kind of grainy, but it looks like it's going to work up pretty smooth. So this is where the work is. And this actually is kind of a little bit of a workout, but I'm going to work this dough, knead it until it gets nice and smooth, and we'll make a nice smooth dough ball. Okay, so I'm going to do that, and then when I get to the end of that, I'm going to spray it with oil, spray a smaller bowl here with oil, and you know, just make sure that it stays moist. And I'm going to put it, see it's sticking to my fingers a little bit, but I don't want this dough to dry out. This dough is going to have to be, it has to be moist and a little tacky for me to be able to work up the smaller dough balls for each tortilla. This should make about 8. I don't know. I'm going to see how it rolls out. We'll see. So I'm not going to be able to keep all those tortillas for very long because this is, you know, full nutrition, full germ, full fiber. Ooh, that's working up really nice. Yeah, that's going to be nice. Okay, so I'll be back in a little bit. Whenever this works up nice and smooth, I'll let y'all know about how long it takes. We're at almost 2.5 minutes right now. And then, and it's warm, y'all. I'm going to keep talking because it's warm. We live in a humid, warm climate. Of course, my house is cool, but it's still, inside is still affected by outside. So if you live up north and you're one of my friends, your dough might work up a little bit different. It does depend on the temperature, the arid. If it's an arid area, you might have to use more liquid, more oil. This is working up super nice. I really like the way that feels. So, but anyway, I don't want to keep y'all in here too long watching me work this dough. But I will be back. Like I said, I'm going to spray it. I'll come back whenever I get to that point so you can see exactly what I'm doing. I'll film that, putting it in the bowl. It will rest again for another 10 minutes. I'm pausing y'all. Hey y'all, I worked that probably about 10 minutes. This is my little metal bowl that I like to use. I have a whole set of these. I really like them a lot. I'm gonna, and this is really good olive oil. I've said this before. If you're buying olive oil and you put anything in the refrigerator with it and it congeals up, you do not have a good olive oil. So, just want to make sure I get it good and covered. I'm going to roll that ball around in there. So don't want this to dry out. I got to be able to work those little smaller, the tortilla balls, because I got to break them off of that. So here we go. I'm pausing y'all again. This is gonna rest. We rest dough. Okay, y'all. I am back, and my little dough ball. See how supple that is? It's soft. So that's what I'm gonna work off of. I'm gonna turn it in that oil, make sure it's all good and covered. And I can use this bowl, or I can use my other bowl. Oh yeah, that is gonna be so nice. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna work this into like a cylinder, a roll, so I can piece this off pretty evenly so I'm not having to pull dough. And I've got this cute little mat here. I should flip it around. Let me flip it around, because sis don't do metric. We standard. I'm old school here. Let's see here. Well, that is, no, that's metric. These are inches over here. So I want about 8 tortillas. I think that's about what this should be. So I'll get it about right. All right, and then I'm going, instead of pinching it off, because I do want these to be kind of uniform. I mean, I know I'm taking a little more time than I should, but y'all be all right. If you don't want to be here, I ain't asking you to stay. I'm not going to cut on my little mat. I'm just going to go down to there. So, that's 3. Let's see what we got here. 2, 3. Okay. That should be about right. Okay. All right. Now, supposed to work these a little bit. Not much. You shouldn't have to work them much. Just work them a little bit, and then you're gonna roll them into a ball. I'm pinching that dough because I want to see how. Oh yeah, when this is gonna work up nice. You see how I can just kind of pull it and make that disc, but that's not what I'm doing right now, because I'm gonna roll these out with, I've got a little rolling pin. Now there is a tortilla roller, another little like pastry roller. I don't have that little tool yet, so, but it'll be all right. Y'all be all right. But I'm gonna put these over in this. I want to put a little more oil in there because these have to stay moist. All right. You see, I'm just squeezing that dough, working it. Any of you have ever worked with fresh milled flour, you understand what I'm talking about. Fresh milled flour works up different, y'all. It's not our real whole flour, fresh milled, Does not look like that store-bought stuff. It does not work like that store-bought stuff. It's not chemically altered like that store-bought stuff, and that's what I'm trying to get to. You know, I want to make sure that I'm leaving a legacy to my children. And I mean, not that my people, my granny, she did a wonderful job. And Brenda and Annie Lane and, you know, they were wonderful. They're all wonderful cooks. Aunt Brenda's gone and Granny's gone. Annie Lane's still with us. But, you know, they used white flour too, and lard, and you know, I'm just trying to teach and learn a better way of cooking that is healthy. So, and I want to share that. I want to leave a legacy to my kids and grandchildren on how to, you know, eat good, wholesome food that is full nutrient and not robbed and void. That one does look a little bigger. I think I'm going to pull off of that one a little hair. I did notice a little something when I was cutting that. I'm getting some olive oil out of this other bowl. It's the dough. That's the dough bowl that we mixed it in. It does have a little bit of a spring to it. So, you know, I hope it acts right when I go to rolling it out. Because if not, what's gonna happen is, as I roll, the dough will spring back, and instead of an 8-inch tortilla, it'll be a smaller tortilla. But we're gonna see how it works out. We ain't gonna waste it. You know, I mean, I can deal with a little smaller tortilla if I got to. It'll be all right. For those ladies that work from home or they're at home, you know, they might have a little more time to deal with the dough. I'm not trying to be here all day. There's something I wanted to do, and I got a little time today. Brother Polk and I are off. And we're going to get it done. All right, y'all. I'm going to pause here till I get this done, and we're going to rest these another 10 minutes, and then we're going to be rolling them out, flattening them out, and then cooking them. Okay. We're going to rest for 10 minutes. Covered. All right, y'all. So what I do, I wanted to show you, I took the little dough ball, one of my tortilla dough balls out of here, and I'm going to work it into a circle. Not a very big one, but I want to try to make sure I kind of have it even, because when my roller hits it, you know, I don't have one of them little fancy ones, but I do got a little small roller, so we're going to work with that. I feel a little thickness right there. Okay, so I put it down on my mat, and no, I don't have one of the mats that's got all the little nice circles that are measured out, so I'm going to guesstimate this. This is a 10 by 14 mat, so I think I can get it eyeballed. I ain't doing too bad with this little roller. I mean, it ain't gonna be probably as pretty as everybody else's, but I'm gonna try. My skillet is preheated, you know, but you can't, and you gotta work quick with this stuff, so I moved my skillet off the stove, and when I get this rolled out the way I want it, I'm gonna step over there, stick it back on the stove because I got my temperature right. And I'm gonna talk to y'all about that here in just a few minutes because everybody's stove is different. It's like everybody's oven. You know, if you don't have an oven thermometer, you need to get one because your oven's probably not baking perfectly. Most of them don't. So you kind of have to work with what your oven does on the setting and, you know, adjust it lower or higher. Okay, I'm getting a little, starting to look like a little alien here, so I'm gonna, oh goodness. I'm gonna try to round it out a little bit here, y'all. I think that's good enough though. That's a 10-inch mat, that's about 9 inches. I see I knocked a little hole right there. But it's gonna be all right. So I'm gonna move over here and I'm gonna get my skillet going and I'm gonna move y'all over where I'm working at and we're gonna see what we can do. But I will tell you this, when you get your skillet right, it's 30 seconds on one side, 30 seconds on the other side, okay? So y'all paused. Okay, y'all, my skillet's got a little oil in it. If you can tell, I don't know if you can see on the camera or not, I got just a little bit of smoke coming. So you do not want that burning, but you do want that little bit of smoke rolling there. And I'm gonna pick up my tortilla. And I'm gonna drop, oh, I messed up right there. Let me get it unfolded. Woo, 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 woo. We'll get it. All right, there we go. Okay. And usually I use a metal spatula. I cannot find my old metal spatula. So, and y'all, I can't count 30 seconds, so I use my microwave timer. See how it's bubbling up nice right there? So I just put 30 seconds on there, but I know I had a couple seconds already. So I'm gonna knock that down a little bit. When it gets down to 3 seconds on my timer, I'm gonna flip this bad boy. These are gonna be so good. I love Freshmill flour. All right, look at there. Look at there. I'll go a little shy on this one because if I don't, it's gonna get hard. Then it's gonna be a hard taco, which we could, and just so you know, if you mess up, if this is not a soft taco shell, you can make this a tostada shell. See, it's getting kind of hard, so I'm gonna pick it up. That's 9 seconds shy. But look at there. Ooh, y'all. Ain't that nice? Look at that. All right, now, I know most of y'all got young ladies watching and maybe some older ones don't know what a trivet is, but look here. I got these from Tupperware years ago. My young'un broke one of them, but I still got 2 of them. I don't even know how long I've had these. But I set this over here on the corner of my stove, and I'm gonna pick this skillet up, and I'm gonna set it over there, because I know that my fire is perfect. It's only gonna take me a minute or 2 to roll out that tortilla, but that skillet is gonna keep getting hotter and hotter. I ain't got but 1 skillet. I ain't running 3 or 4 of them, and I don't have no, if I had one of them fancy, Blackstone griddles, I could probably do this much faster, and I'd love to. I'm thinking about getting one, by the way. But anyway, so that burner's gonna keep going. Ain't no youngins in here, and if they are, they're gonna get run out. But we're gonna pause y'all for a minute. All right, y'all, we back. I'm fixing to do another one. See if I can do it without folding it up this time. Look at there. That one got a little bit of shrinkage to it, but hey, we learning, ain't we? It'll be all right. Got 2 of them over here. And look how nice, y'all. That's gonna fold over Make a beautiful taco. All right. Just so y'all know, I think my heat in my skillet's running about 20 seconds, not 30. I am going to try, I shared, tagged Sister Brittany McLaurin in a post from Bruce Mitchell on how to clean your cast iron using a water bath method. And I think I'm going to try that, but I got to get a hold of a battery. An old battery. And see, I moved that skillet. All right, y'all paused. That is the recipe. And cooking of Kamut and hard white wheat tortillas from fresh milled grain. God bless y'all. Have a wonderful day.